everyone. Welcome to this month's Plated Up Kentucky Proud recipe segment. Today we will be making stuffed zucchini boats, and I am so excited to share this recipe with you. I'm also really excited that it's finally zucchini season, but along with that comes the season for all kinds of other summer vegetables, summer squash, onions, tomatoes, cucumbers. Really our gardens are in full force already, and so it was a little hard to choose what produce item that I wanted to pick, but I think that you'll really enjoy this recipe. It's very simple and easy. It's something that you can have most of it prepared in advance, so not a lot of preparation or cook time on the day of, so maybe a good recipe for a busy weeknight. But I'll go ahead and go over our ingredients. We have, of course, zucchini is the spotlight of our show today. We also have onion, we have marinara sauce, we have shredded cheddar cheese, breadcrumbs, an egg, garlic powder, and black pepper. And then we've already went ahead and cubed and cooked our chicken breast. So this is I cooked it a little bit earlier today, and that's something that you could pre-do as well. So if you want to have this on a weeknight, you could go ahead and cook your chicken and it's ready to go. And then just a little olive oil and a little more shredded cheese for on the top. A little more cheese is always a good idea. And I do want to say that our produce today is provided by Bennett Family Farms. So we want to thank them for the beautiful zucchinis that will also be super yummy. So make sure you check out your local farmer's market for your fresh produce items. And honestly, the rest of the ingredients you probably have on hand, or it's basic pantry staples that you could get just about anywhere. So I'll go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is to show you how we're going to cut our zucchini for this recipe. So I'm going to move these couple things out of the way here. And to make the zucchini boats, first we're just going to cut off the very end and the stem end. And then we're going to want to cut our zucchini in half lengthwise. So it might be tempting to set it up like this and try and cut it like that, but that's probably not the safest way to cut it. A safer way would be to lay it down on your cutting board and put your hand on top of the vegetable. Position your knife about in the center of the zucchini and just run it all the way through. If you get a little uneven, that's okay. You can back up and reposition your cut, but we want to end up with two long pieces, and we're going to put them over here on our ungreased cookie sheet. And I'll go ahead and cut this other one up as well. So once again, like I said, steady your knife with your hand on top of the vegetable and you get a nice clean cut. So after we've got those cut in half, our next step is to scrape out the center part. So we're trying to make a well, or a little boat, if you will. And so I've chosen to use a melon baller. That edge is a great edge for getting those seeds out. But if you don't have a melon baller, no big deal. I actually tried this earlier with a spoon, and that worked just fine as well. So maybe a larger serving type spoon, anything that has just enough of an edge on it to help you get those seeds out of the middle of your vegetable. So while I'm working on scraping these seeds out, I will tell you a little bit about the benefits of zucchini. Zucchinis are great for use in a lot of different recipes. That's one of the reasons why I love them, is because they're so versatile. You can use them for something like this, where they're truly the star of the show or your main dish. You can use them as a side item. But if you have people in your family who don't love zucchinis quite as much, they can still eat them disguised, as I like to say, in other items. So things like breads, cookies, even brownies. Really, the sky's the limit as far as what you can do with your zucchini. So zucchinis are filled with fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, manganese, which is kind of a weird mineral that you don't hear about as much, but it will contribute to your bone health. And I like to say that fruits and vegetables, especially zucchinis, they're very protective to our health. So it's kind of like taking your vitamins every day. They help you stay well before you're even sick. And that's really what we want. So who wouldn't want to have a little immune support? Those vitamins and minerals will help you heal quickly if you're injured, heal a wound or a scrape, which might happen a little more in the summertime than usual. So as usual, I've made a little bit of a mess here, but we've got our zucchini boats scraped out. So those are ready to go, and now we'll work on mixing our filling. One other thing that I wanted to show you real quick first, before we do that though, is how we can cut up our onion. So the recipe only calls for 1/2 cup of onion, and this is a small onion. I have already cut it and mixed it with the chicken, but just to show you, there's a great way that you can get your onion diced without maybe as many tears as what you're used to. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it first in half, as you'll notice, with the stem or the root part, leave that on. And we wanna cut kind of in a rainbow type shape around the onion. So I'm making little slits all around the sides, cutting toward the root, but not getting into it. And then we'll want to place our hand on top, just like we did with that zucchini, and do some horizontal cuts. So I usually do about 3 from the bottom up to the top. And so we've cut horizontally, and then now we can cut across, just like this. And since you've already made those other cuts, it's already diced for you. So I love that little trick. You can hold on to those roots so that you don't slip and cut yourself. And there you go, you have lovely diced onion. So that's how I did it earlier. So just wanted to offer you that little tidbit and trick as well. All right, enough about that. We will move on to our filling. So as I mentioned, I have my chicken and onions. This was 1 pound of chicken breast that was already cooked. I cooked it with a 1/2 cup of onion and just a little olive oil to keep it from sticking in the pan. And then we're gonna mix that with 1 egg. This is the easy part, or the fun part. A 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. These are Italian style, so that'll offer you a little extra flavor if you go that route. 1 cup of the shredded cheddar cheese. Black pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Notice I said garlic powder instead of garlic salt. That's a way that we can make this recipe a little bit healthier by reducing the amount of sodium and still get equally as much flavor. As well, this marinara sauce is lower sodium. So if you look at store-bought marinara sauces, they traditionally have in a serving maybe about 25% of your daily sodium, some even more than that, some maybe 30, 33%. So if you or anyone in your family is conscious about your heart health or just prefer less salty things in general, those lower sodium options are there for you, and they're generally the same price as their saltier alternatives. So just take a look for that. You might have to train your eye or spend just a couple extra minutes in the aisle, but it is worth it to protect your heart health. Since we're eating these awesome fruits and vegetables, why not make the rest of it healthy as well while we're at it? So as you can see now, I'm just simply mixing this filling together. This kind of reminds me of lasagna or spaghetti a little bit. You might have heard of zucchini lasagna or eggplant lasagna. It kind of puts you in mind of this, except for we're eating it in the form of a boat today. And one other thing I'll mention about that zucchini is we want to leave the peel on. The peel, that dark green, is really where a lot of the fiber and the vitamins and minerals are. So we don't want to get rid of that. And if your zucchini is small, about that 6 to 8 inches that's recommended for the size when it's harvested, that peel shouldn't be too tough for you. If you do have a larger zucchini, you can always stripe it or take off just a little bit of the peel, and then you still have the vitamins, but a little bit less of that, that tough part. So one thing I forgot that I need to do is we want our boats, we don't want them to rock back and forth. So I'm going to cut just a very small little slit in the bottom of the zucchini just to get it to lay flat. See how now it doesn't shake anymore? That'll help it from spilling over in the oven, which if you've cooked for any length of time, I'm sure that's happened to you with one thing or another, and it's always just a little something extra to clean up later. So we'll avoid that by just taking a little slice to help it set flat on our cookie sheet. All right, last one. We're almost ready. And if they're not exactly the same, that is okay. They don't have to be perfect. The recipe, the serving size, actually recommends each person gets one full zucchini, or the 2 halves of the zucchini. So that looks like a pretty filling meal to me if you've eaten that whole thing. So anyways, it doesn't matter if one half is a little bigger than the other. All right, well, whoops, almost forgot. I have a little olive oil here, and so I'm just going to use my fingers to put it over the zucchini a little bit, and that helps it to just cook well and get that nice roasted taste and texture. If you've ever cooked an acorn squash or a butternut squash this way, you might have done something similar by greasing it just a little bit with some extra virgin olive oil. And there you go, now you're all set. Okay, now the fun part. We are gonna put this filling. It ends up being about 1/4 cup of filling in each boat. If you wanna measure it, you can, or you can just do like I'm doing and kind of make sure that it's even between all of your pieces. You get your chicken in there, your marinara sauce. It looks awesome. And the zucchini will soften up as well in the cooking process, so that makes it a little more friendly for some people who may not love zucchini quite as much. I also learned that you can eat zucchini raw. So we always like to talk about other things that you can do with these vegetables. I've been on a kick lately, if you want to call it that, of homemade ranch dressing, just made with Greek yogurt and ranch dressing mix, plain Greek yogurt. And you can cut up your zucchini and dip it in that, and that's a fun little refreshing summer snack as well. We can also make zucchini fries, zucchini fritters. Like I said, you can put them in a bread, eat them by themselves. So if you have an abundance of zucchini, it seems like when the plants start producing them, you end up with a lot all at once. So you might be scrambling to find how you're going to eat all of this zucchini. So be creative. Also, if you have recipes for yellow summer squash, they're really interchangeable. So you can use either one. Either one is a great option, just slightly different look and taste. So we have these all set up. We are going to bake these in an oven set to 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, when they come out, we're going to take this little bit of extra cheese that we've set aside, about 1/2 cup. We're going to sprinkle that over the top of all of the boats and put it in for about another 5 minutes. After that, I will go ahead and show you what the finished product looks like. You have awesome zucchini boats. This can be your main entree. You could serve it with something maybe like brown rice, mashed potatoes, a baked potato, or even just a salad. Really, it's enough to be a full meal in and of itself. If you would like this recipe, you can get it by emailing barry.hyatt@nctc.com. Another way that I usually share to find it is by searching for Plate It Up Kentucky Proud in your Google search bar, and that will take you to our website where you can find it by zucchini, by summer. There's multiple ways you can search for this recipe, or visit us at Plate It Up Kentucky Proud on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching this today. We hope that you enjoy this recipe, and have a great one. We'll see you again soon.